And time now to take a look at this afternoon's market numbers. At noon, the markets are all up. The Dow was up 69 points. The Nasdaq was in the green, up 40 points, and the S&P 500 was in positive territory, up 9 points. And South Korea is seeing new lockdown restrictions put into place again as a new outbreak has sparked fears of a second wave. Today, it reported 279 new infections, its biggest daily increase in 5 months. Julia McFarlane has the story.
South Korea is at a watershed moment. That's according to the country's health ministry, who say this week is key to overcoming the risk of another nationwide outbreak. A new cluster in the capital Seoul threatening to turn into a wider spread. Traced back to a church after its leader tested positive, reminiscent of the early days of the pandemic when authorities determined a secretive Christian sect was behind a cluster of more than 5,000 cases. Now, new restrictions on social venues, including churches, city workers even spraying disinfectant on the streets around a church. Residents say they feel let down by the government. This man says he's not even going to the supermarket anymore. It couldn't be a more contrasted picture in Wuhan, the original epicenter of the global pandemic. Footage showing hundreds flocking to a pool party at Wuhan's Mayer Beach water park, causing international alarm. Scores of people huddling close together in rubber floats, months after the city lifted its lockdown back in April. Meanwhile, a leading British epidemiologist warning this week that with less than 10% of the world's population having been infected, we are still at an early stage of this global pandemic. Back in the spring, South Korea was quick to impose restrictions and implemented a heavy tracking system. Now, with just over 15,500 cases, the number is low compared to European countries and to the United States, which has more than 5.5 million infections. Julia McFarlane, ABC News, London.
And the Postmaster General is now holding off on some major changes to the Postal Service. Tuesday, Louis DeJoy said he wants to ensure voters are fully supported by the Postal Service. Now, DeJoy now says the retail hours at post offices will not change. Mail processing equipment and blue collection boxes will remain where they are, and no mail processing facilities will be closed. Now, this after weeks of those exact kind of changes to post offices across the country. DeJoy is set to testify before a Senate committee on Friday and the House Oversight Committee next week. And meanwhile, over the weekend, 2 of Erie's mail sorting machines were unplugged as ordered by DeJoy. But now they may be put back into use after his change in guidance yesterday. Some people say they're still wary, with local elected officials saying their advice is to get those ballots mailed in early.
I'm encouraging everyone to get their ballots in early if they're going to do mail-in balloting. Don't wait until the end, because you don't want to risk your ballot not getting there on time.
And coming up on Jet 24 Action News at noon, this week's Jet Pet is waiting for a new home. Can you help? Find out more after the break.